Good morning and welcome back to our series, Taking Care of Our Youth When It Matters. Today we think together on what it means to lead a good life while we are young. Many young people talk about having good times. We had an airline which advertised itself as king of good times, but very quickly fell upon bad times. That itself is an indication of the importance of our theme. Now let me first of all give you a very simple understanding of what good life means to me. You can check if this idea agrees with your understanding as well. For me, a good way of life or good life is a condition in which I am able to remain true to myself as well as express the truth about me, who I really am, in my words and through my deeds. Two things: who am I? To what extent do I express who I am through what I say and what I do? Very simple. Now, if I'm able to connect the two, that is, connect who I am with what I say or do, then I am in that state which we can call good life. In other words, and this is very important for my argument, good life is not a matter of external facilities and gadgets. There are many people who feel good, feel even euphoric about having this or having that, or being in this company or that company. But that's really not my idea of leading a good life. A good life, and I want to restate it, underline it, emphasize it, because it's so very crucial. A good life is a life in which I'm able to remain true to myself as well as express the essence of my being through my words and deeds to the world around. Now, this wonderful and happy state is something that every human being can attain. But it is also something that a vast majority of people, particularly when they are young, reject it without knowing what they actually do. How do we actually reject good life? How do we invite a state of oppression on ourselves? I think the way we do this to ourselves is by simply conforming to the patterns that prevail at any point in time, by simply imitating others unthinkingly. So this is what I call the strategy of conforming unthinkingly or mindlessly. For example, if you just quickly review many of the things that you've done in the recent times, the choice, the decision to have this or to have that, to go there rather than here, to use your time in a certain fashion, perhaps not very helpful to your life as a student or whatever, you will see that in almost all of those instances, you were not thinking as an individual who tries to be true to himself, but as a person who simply imitates what others do. Now, this is the problem with conformity. Put very simply, conformity robs us, takes away from us the freedom to live our life. All the time, and that's the pathos of it, all the time we are living somebody else's life, or we are leading a life not according to our value systems, our understanding, our essential likes and dislikes, but in terms of what other people would like us to do and how other people are managing or mismanaging their life. Now, what is the problem in this? The most fundamental problem for me is that in this process and through this process, gradually we lose the capacity to think for ourselves. Now, a great French philosopher, Descartes, once said, I exist only because I think. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I exist. In other words, according to Descartes, if I don't think for myself, I do not live any longer. It's as serious as that. And my dear friends, in the day and age in which we live, it's extremely important for us to be vigilant against the tendency to conform unthinkingly to the patterns and the fads and the fashions that come and go almost by the day. Because if you don't do that, you will simply fail to live your life. Now, to illustrate what the psychology behind this is, let me give you a story, an actual event. A man in the United States opened up a departmental store in a small town. To his great dismay, he found that in the first 3 months there wasn't a single customer coming his way. People were in the neighborhood, people were all going to faraway shops. So he began to think, and he asked himself, why does it happen? What can I do about it? And an idea struck. He went and bought some 20 cars, old cars, discarded cars from the junkyard, and got them all nicely painted and had them parked in front of his departmental store. Now the very appearance, the very look of the place changed, and people started just coming in. The logic was this: if 20 people could come to this departmental store, as is indicated by the cars parked there, then it must be a good store, and I must also go there. So the actual quality of the store doesn't matter. What matters is how many people I see going there. It doesn't matter to me whether I'll be fleeced there, whether I will be given or sold substandard stuff. All these things don't matter. The only thing that matters is that others are going there, I must also go there. And this is exactly how most of the time we react to the world around. Now, I think it's important for us to stand our ground and say, well, I have common sense, I have the capacity to think, I'm not a child anymore, I am a young adult, I am in the business of, say, higher education, I have the benefit of education, therefore I have a duty to think for myself, and I will only accept that which makes sense to me. The moment you do that, you begin to lead a very different quality of life. And you begin to grow into a human being. Your personality changes. And you begin to actually exude power, and rather than being influenced by others, you begin to be a potent source of influence on others. And I believe this is a great thing. Let me conclude with a personal story. In 1971, when I went to Delhi as a postgraduate student, I stayed in a hostel, a university hostel, and on the very first day, late at night, about 8 o'clock or so, a group of 6 students came to my room and said, come, let's go and see a late night show. And I knew that this was the fashion. I knew that, it was quite an exciting thing for young people to go out late in the night and, see films and so on and so forth. But I had gone from Kerala, traveling some 3,000 kilometers just to study. So I told them very politely, look, if I were to see late night shows, I would have stayed back in Kerala and seen pictures in the theaters there. I've come here to study, therefore please let me be. That day, they began to respect me. Just an illustration, my friends. You don't have to tamely conform to what happens all around. Think for yourself, stand on your feet. Life's great. See you soon.